Thank you very much for joining us today for this webinar about how to use Kiosk View for commercial projects. Kiosk View is a way to display information about solar systems that a company or apartment complex, for example, might own on a monitor or some other kind of display in a lobby or other high traffic area so that they can basically showcase the benefits of their investment in renewable energy. My name is Tony Vernetti. I'm a trainer here at Enphase Energy. And I'm just going to do a quick overview of the Enphase commercial offering from products to other services. But the bulk of today's webinar is actually going to be led by Dorothy Wilkes, who's one of our commercial customer success specialists. And she's actually going to walk you through exactly how to set up Kiosk View step by step using the actual app. So thanks for helping out today, Dorothy. I appreciate it. So this is our agenda today. First, we're just going to cover basically what Kiosk View is, how to create a unique Kiosk View for an individual solar system, how to create additional profiles if you want to display multiple systems in Kiosk View, how you can customize the appearance of each individual profile, and then, as I mentioned, we'll have a Q&A at the end of the session. Now, before we get into Kiosk View, I just wanted to give you an overview of the Enphase commercial offering for those of you out there who might not be familiar with it. Enphase, for a long time, has been known as a leader in the residential solar inverter space with our solar microinverters going back to 2006, I believe. 2006, the company was founded. And last year, we released this microinverter model called the IQ8P3P, and the system as a whole, all the additional components that go into a complete system, that truly is a three-phase 208-volt native solution, which is ideal for many small and medium commercial projects out there. We found after doing research over the years and talking to installers and looking at other solutions from other inverter companies, that there were very few viable solutions for the small commercial space. Other larger inverter manufacturers, string inverter companies, did not really have a great solution for three-phase 208-volt. And so Enphase developed this microinverter specifically to serve that market. It is a very powerful microinverter. It is designed for commercial modules. This isn't just an oversized residential microinverter. It is designed specifically for large format and very high power commercial modules. The power rating of the IQ8P3P is 480 VA, which for all intents and purposes is the same as watts. And it can be paired with solar modules up to around 640 watts with little to no losses resulting from clipping. The other components needed for the system here are listed here. We have a special cabling system called the QD cable, which does automatic phase rotation and phase balancing. So you don't actually have to divvy up the microinverters across all three phases with the system. That's done automatically by the QD cable. And we've got a dedicated commercial gateway called the IQ Gateway Commercial 2. And we also have some additional features available on the Enphase Installer platform that are specifically for commercial customers. Enphase's solar design and proposal software called SolarGraph is also capable of designing commercial projects. Commercial projects can be designed, and you can also generate permit-ready plan sets with SolarGraph. If you don't wish to create the plan sets yourselves, we actually offer an on-demand plan set service through Enphase, where you can provide us the necessary information, and we will actually have our experts generate a plan set for your projects. And then lastly, before we get into the demo, really what we're going to talk about today are features in the Installer Portal or Enlighten Manager that are there specifically for commercial projects and commercial customers. There are basically kind of two components to that. The first is, excuse me, I'm drawing a blank on the name of what it's called. Well, today we're going to be focusing on Kiosk View.
Fleet Manager.
Dorothy, thanks for saving me. Tell me, what is it called again?
Fleet manager.
Fleet manager. That is the name that I was trying to pull out of my brain. Thank you for that. Fleet manager. The purpose of fleet manager is to make it easy for you as a solar company to get a snapshot of your entire fleet, make it easy to search and filter if you want to find specific projects within your portfolio, set up automatic notifications if there are any issues or errors with your system, among other things. And one of the features within that platform is Kiosk View. Kiosk View is a specific feature that I mentioned before, allows you to display critical the critical details about a system or systems for display within a lobby or other high traffic area to promote how that company is using renewable energy. So with that, I'm going to pass presentation capabilities over to Dorothy, and she's going to walk us through a live demo here. So just hang on 1 second while I do that, Dorothy.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're excited to show you this Kiosk View. Do you see my screen okay, Tony? Enphase Fleet Management screen?
Yep, your screen is looking good.
Okay, perfect. So when you first log into Enlighten, you want to go ahead and click up on the systems dashboard on top. Oops, I'm sorry, let me go back real quick. Yeah. Think in a minute here. So this takes you to the fleet management dashboard. We call it Fleet Manager. So this basically helps our installer partners and asset owners manage their fleet and keep track of performance. You have a quick snapshot on one page of your capacity, fleet status, energy produced, expected versus actual energy. There's a lot of different, we call these widgets you can add, estimated total savings, you can add, if you want to see different information, or remove. So it basically tells you a quick snapshot of your fleet, and you can actually drill down and investigate anything that needs attention, anything that you needed to see what was going on with, if there's any issues. So that's just a quick overview of Fleet Manager. Next, we're going to go to the kiosk. So like Tony had mentioned, the kiosk view, it allows commercial system owners to highlight the benefits of adopting solar energy to their customers. So we're going to go ahead and show you how to set up any new profiles, choose any systems you want to have a display, like in a front lobby. It can be in a real estate office, it can be, like you said, an apartment complex. A bank is a good example, just to give you a quick overview of all the systems that were installed. So first, what we're going to do is it comes up with a system list. So you have your choice of viewing your profiles that you created or viewing other profiles. This is for profiles that everyone else in your company has created. If there's other people that have created profiles, you can also view those profiles. What we're going to go ahead and do is we're just going to set up a new profile. So you click Add Profile. And within here, you can change the name of the profile to whatever you want. Let's just call it Profile Number 2. And then with the list of systems, you can choose whatever systems you want to display. Now, just to give you an example, you can, if you want to sort or search by a certain system number, you can search here. If you know a certain system number or ID number that you want to show, you can search by system ID. You can sort by status. You can also go over to this tool here and you can choose, you can choose system name, installer groups, whatever display you want to show here on this bar. You can choose, there's a lot of different information you can choose from. So let's clear this out and we're just going to go ahead and choose systems here. Let's choose here, 5285. Let's choose a couple systems here. So when you choose these systems, you'll see down below, it adds these systems. Now, you can also, if you want to, decide I don't want to show that system, I don't want to show that system, you can actually also get rid of the systems. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and pull those 3. You can change the display name. And then also, you can choose and upload site imagery. So for example, let's pull, they must be a PNG, JPEG, enter a 5 megabyte file. So let's choose a couple images here. Taking a minute here.
So Dorothy, while that's loading, let me ask you a question. What happens if an installer or the customer doesn't upload a site image? How does that affect the actual kiosk view?
So they're just, when we go to the display, I'll show you for the display, there just will not be an image of it'll be a blank image. There will be no image on the screen. So it'll still provide all the data, it just will not show a picture of the site. Let me try choosing a different picture.
So I would say it's going to be very important to have an image for every single project. Otherwise, the display is not going to look nearly as good as it could.
Exactly. I'm not sure why it doesn't want to upload an image right now. Let me go back real quick. Let's see here. I already have some set up here, so let's just use these. So as you can see, when you go to choose an image, there we go. So you can choose an image, and if you have an image uploaded and you decide you want to change that, you can remove and save a different image. But for this example, we'll just choose this image. That's already there. So once the images are uploaded, you could also choose an owner's logo. So make sure that this logo is uploaded in Enlighten under your account profile. So you can choose a logo if you want to change it, replace it, kind of like the images up here. You can also display the installer name and logo on the kiosk, or you can choose to hide the installer name and logo. You have the option. We'll go ahead and display it at this time. You also have, for each slide, the display time could go anywhere from 10 seconds to 120 seconds. The site image could be scroll animation or user zoom and pan. And the energy production graph period could be yearly, monthly, or daily. And the number of years you can view on the graph, it could be the last 2 years of production all the way up to 10 years of production. So right now we'll just set that at six years.
So Dorothy, would you mind just pausing there for a moment?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
sure.
I just wanted to point out something that I noticed when working with this as well. If you scroll down to the bottom, and under energy production graph time period, if you select something other than yearly. So if you select monthly, then on the right you can see now you have the option of the number of months that you want to display. So these two things are connected to each other.
Yes.
So I would say, correct me if I'm wrong, Dorothy, but for if you had commercial systems installed for, say, several years, then you might want to select year as the time period. So you could, on your display, you'd actually have years of information. However, if it's a relatively new project, say it's only 10 months old, then you would probably want to select monthly as the display. So it can.
Correct.
So this will be clear when we actually see the preview of what the Kiosk View looks like. But it just enhances the display because you'll have more information in that graph that's displayed.
Yes, perfect. Yep, good point. So we went ahead and changed that to month. So once you have everything done, you want to click the Save button. And then you want to click Preview. Please correct site selection. We're having technical difficulties today. 1 second. I've never seen that message before. There we go, that was odd. Okay. So right now you'll see the display, I have this in dark mode. Now you have the option of having dark mode or regular. Dark mode basically kind of extends the life of the screen. It can reduce glare if it's like in a bright place, bright area, bright space. So it's just kind of an option. And also you have full screen. So you want to click full screen to give the full screen view. And this basically gives you an overall view of the sites that we chose. It's going to scroll through each picture based on the seconds or minutes we chose. And it's going to highlight your site achievement, what was generated this month, this year, the environmental impact, the carbon offset, how many cars have been off the road for the year due to this system. So basically, production graph shows you by month, like Tony had said, and you can also display by year, but the month does show you more data on this one. And also has a map, a satellite map of where the locations are, where the systems are located. Now you can see on here, I talked about the installer. So if you do click that toggle I showed you off, it will not show who it was installed by, but in this case, it is showing who the installer is for each of these sites. And that's a quick overview. I don't know, Tony, if you want to add anything, anything else you think of that I may have missed.
Dorothy, if you don't mind going back to the settings, I think we should show installers how to actually upload their own company logo, because that's something that we talked about that maybe not installers, all installers might not know how to do that. And in order for your, your company logo to be installed in the upper right, to bring some brand awareness to your company, you have to actually upload your own logo.
Yes. So under your account profile in Enlighten, go up to company profile, and there's a section that says company logo. So you want to make sure your logo is uploaded. So you just basically choose a file and upload your logo.
Yep. Perfect.
So that's where you want to make sure, and you want to make sure when you do that, that you go down and you update account. Otherwise, it will not save it. So that's where you want to make sure that's uploaded.
So we got an interesting
also,
question.
Installers. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Dorothy. Yeah, go ahead and I'll ask the question.
Oh, I was just going to do it real quickly. I was just going to say, if you don't have an Enlighten account, we do have a link we can send you for new user registration. And basically want to make sure you register as a new solar company. You have to choose option 1, fill out all your company information. Make sure you put in the email. You'll receive an email and it'll have you set up a password, and then you'll get access to the kiosk. So you do have to have an Enlighten manager account.
Right, so just to be clear, Dorothy, since any professional Enphase installer, any installation company is already going to have an Enlighten account. However, if they've installed 5 systems for a real estate company, and they would like to hand over access to that company to manage their own Kiosk View, then that company would actually have to set up their own Enlighten account, and then the systems that they own would be under their account, and they would be able to create their own unique kiosk files and views, right?
Yeah, it could be either way. Sometimes we have the installer just add them as a user under their account. So it just depends on how they want to handle it. But yeah, otherwise, then they can have their own separate login. It just depends on how they decide to do it. But they definitely have to be added as actually a user or have their own account.
All right, well, somebody did type an interesting question in. Can you add live view to the kiosk view? And I think by live view, what they're talking about is in the Enphase app, whether it's the web or for smartphones. There's a feature called live status, where if you click on it, it shows the actual flow of energy from the solar system, kind of between the solar,
I have that on
the loads, and the grid. Do you know if that's an option for them to turn on in Kiosk View?
Not that I'm aware of, but that would be a great idea. I actually have that for my solar system. That would be awesome to have.
Yeah.
So we can ask about that.
Yeah, good idea, Pietro. We'll discuss that with the right people to see if there's a way that we can incorporate that as well as an option. Perhaps with a version 2. All right.
Any other questions that come through or no?
No, that was the only question that was typed in so far. So that is actually the end of the demo. As you can see, it's designed to be pretty simple to set up and straightforward. And so there's not a whole lot to it at this point. So please, if there are anything that you'd like to ask to cover in more detail or any questions, just type those in right now. So a couple more questions from Pietro. Is it only for commercial or can you use it on residential too? It actually can be used for any system or systems. Typically, a commercial customer would be the one that would benefit from having a kiosk. I mean, obviously, they would have a lobby or someplace where people could actually view it, and that's the idea. For residential systems, perhaps an application there would be for a solar company. Say if you're a solar installer and you'd like to have a display in your lobby for your customers that come into your business, you could have a display showing all the residential or all, not just residential, all residential and commercial projects you've installed. So yeah, there's no limit, there's no fee for using this feature. It's just built into the Enlighten platform. All right, well, I'm not seeing any additional questions come in. We'll just wait for another minute or so to see if there are any other questions that will be typed in.
And Tony, are we going to provide the customer success email if anybody wants to have a follow-up with how to set it up or anything? Or I'm not sure if you're sending anything out after this.
Yeah, so let me actually go ahead and take back control so I can show the slide that has contact information here. So here we have the screen with the resources. So customer success at enphaseenergy.com for support with Kiosk View, Fleet Manager, and so forth. If you have questions about products, pricing, availability, things like that, contact an Enphase commercial inside sales rep at commercial@enphaseenergy.com. We also have a dedicated web page for IQ8 commercial information, and that's enphase.com/installers/commercial. And we also have a nice tool called a BOM calculator. We can actually enter essential information about a specific project, like the number of modules, the module power output, what type of electrical service, and so forth, and it'll generate a bill of materials for that project. So that can be handy. You can create that and then send that to your distributor to put together a quote for you. And then we also have a module compatibility calculator listed here as well. So with this tool, you can enter in the specific characteristics or specs of an individual solar module, and then it'll recommend, it'll tell you which microinverters from Enphase Energy are going to be compatible with that module based on its voltage and so forth. Okay, so a few more questions have come in while I was fumbling around with GoToWebinar. Pietro asked, how about the array view? Is that going to be visible? Not at this time, to my knowledge. Is that true, or Dorothy? Array view is basically the virtual map of the solar panels on a building.
Correct. Currently, you can drill down into the systems. Where I was at the systems page, you can drill down to each of those systems and look at the arrays, but currently you cannot view those on the kiosk. But we will make that note if you want to see specific arrays for a specific site. We'll make that note and see if that's something that they can maybe add on the next update.
Yeah. And a question from Jim, can we simply send our customer a link to the kiosk view? Some of our customers would find this challenging. That's a great question, Jim, and that's actually a feature that I know for sure is coming up, where you can create basically a web link. A USD installer could create a link and then share that link with the business owner, and they would simply display that link. They wouldn't have to go through this process of using Enlighten Manager. So yeah, it's not available at this moment, but it is something that will be available very soon. A question from Brendan. Do we have any insight on the best way to display the kiosk from a technical standpoint? This has been problematic over the years when using a PC displaying a web page. And invariably, they end up getting disconnected, resulting in a contractor truck roll. So Brendan, I think one thing that we're doing that will help with that is a web link. I understand what you're saying, and I think some of the challenges with keeping the display permanent and just reliable had to do with it. It could only be displayed by a monitor that was actually connected to the computer that was logged into the Enlighten account. So if you, as an installer, say, decided to change the password for your Enlighten account, that could potentially log out that customer, and then they would lose that display view. So again, I think something that's going to help with that is the upcoming feature of being able to create a web link, and then that customer, all they have to do is display a web page. They don't have to worry about being logged into Enlighten Manager to display that. So hopefully that will be helpful. And then a question from Pietro came in about SolarGraph. So SolarGraph, the website is actually just solargraph.com, exactly how you spelled it, SOLARGRAF, excuse me, GRAF.com. All right, well, we don't have any additional questions typed in. I do appreciate the comments and the suggestions on additional items to be able to display. A question from Jesus, does SolarGraph cost something? Yes, SolarGraph is it's a subscription-based service, so I don't know that the costs offhand right now, but if you go to solargraph.com, you can, I think there's a link at the top where you can click to view the different packages. It kind of does depend on how many licenses that you need, how many people within your company need access to be able to use SolarGraph, but yes, there is a fee for it. Additional comment from Pietro, I think the array view is an important differentiator from string inverters and should be visible on kiosks. That's a great point. With Enphase, with the array view, you can actually see information about energy production and power output for each individual solar module, which many companies with string inverters without any kind of MLPE don't have the ability to display that. So that's a great point, and we'll provide that feedback to the team. All right, well, with that, I think we'll go ahead and conclude the session today. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us today. We hope this was valuable for you. If you do have any questions, again, you can reach out to Dorothy's team at customer success at enphaseenergy.com or to an Enphase commercial sales rep at commercial@enphaseenergy.com. Thanks again for joining and have a great day.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.